Okay, we are completed with the infill on the forward fuselage section. From the waist down, I guess that would be this, from this line down. And have only to fill, as far as the forward cockpit or cabin section, this cell here, this between these two bulkheads. So the top needs to be infilled between these two, the sides, the bottom, all the way around. So that'll be the last phase of infilling where the fuselage cabin section is. Obviously the forward section behind the cowling is already done. And as I went through this, as you see how the grain is running here, running side to side on the first three openings, and then also running side to side on the split opening here. And that was because of the curvature here that accounts for the top of our wing. The wings attach up here at the top, and this is the airfoil shape of the wing transferred across the top of the fuselage. So in order to copy that, we ran the grain in this direction, which leads us to this rear section, and you can see all the curves there, the compound curves on the ends, where the pieces will need to be able to flex this way and also have a radius for these corners, which I think I'm going to end up stacking the sheet balsa. So what I'll do is we'll cut it with the same grain as we have here on these ends. This strip here and this strip over here, the grain will be running in this side-to-side direction, and down the center, the grain will be running lengthwise. Even there, we're probably going to have to do side by side on this set anyway. This looks relatively flat, and this looks relatively flat. Now, it's going to be it's a poser for consistency is out the window here, and we really just have to go with conformity, pieces that will conform to these curves, rather than a consistent grain run one way or the other. It's going to be a hodgepodge there for that top section. You can see how what I was saying earlier on another video, how even the simplest airplane, you would think, the Aeronca Champ is a small airplane. It's a simple design, and yet with all these chines and curves and compound curves on the fuselage alone, it makes for some interesting model work where infill is concerned. My deal. Probably not so much if I was tissue covering this, but I just don't do that. I like this look so much better when it's completed. So, it's a poser. There's going to be some challenges yet traversing this section here with balsa infill. This whole top fuselage rear section. The rest of it I have no concerns over. The bottom especially is flat. That's simple. But this is going to be a poser as far as executing it properly and making it look right. All right, so anyway, we're up to date. I did whitewash this front frame piece, and as a pilot actually pointed out to me when I was working on my Stinson, and I kept calling this a frame, and a support piece, and it really is part of the frame. In other words, the framework on these aircraft includes these portions that you would just think are just stanchions for the top, or just pieces, but they're not. This is a section of the total framework of the fuselage, if that makes sense. So when you're thinking of what we're looking at in terms of the actual aircraft, these pieces here this support structure here is actually all integrated and part of the entire framework, all welded up and connected, and not just, you know, loosely attached or bolted pieces bolted on just for the look of this, or for a limited amount of support that a bolted in piece would give you. This is actually all part of the running framework on the actual aircraft. Anyway, that's neither here nor there, I guess. It's just me. So lots of work ahead. Again, I think I'll be doing it in time lapse, more than boring the hell out of you with my dialogue. So I'm going to load up this video. There's about 3 or 4 others on the camera right now for me to put up, and then after this video should be time lapse of portions of the completion of the fuselage infill. All right, we're getting there.